How welcome do you feel here on the part of the D-League and the NBA people?
I feel very welcome. I will spend the next, right after the showcase, 4 days with the Pistons, and in late January I will be with the Raptors. I have my Italian connection over there, so no, I feel really welcome because I think that it's a paradox, because sometimes you feel the NBA teams are looking for the same kind of information we should be looking for, but we are not. That's a paradox, I think. They keep an eye on Europe. They want to have a solid relationship with the European people, but we don't with the NBA people. That's ridiculous, but that's the way it is sometimes. So I personally feel very welcome.
Just like European teams are becoming less interested in the D-League, I feel like NBA teams are becoming less interested in European prospects for the draft. Do you think that's a mistake? Do you feel the same way?
I think the European teams many European teams are more lazy than interested or not interested. They just don't think about the problem, They just don't want to think about it. The NBA teams many NBA teams had great experience with the European players, so why not going on? It's not like it's the same kind of approach, I think. They don't have to come overseas and look for the best player they can, but sometimes they just need the information. They will keep an eye on a player. If somebody is able to point the finger towards the player and say, this can be an interesting guy, keep an eye on him, and then you never know what's going to happen. For us, it's a different thing, but every NBA team I've been in touch with keeps telling me the same thing. Keep in touch. If you need information about the player, just call me. Because it's like an exchange. It happens the same in things that are not basketball. I mean, the cultural exchange of information, of experience, is going to be an advantage for everybody. It has been for me. So I'm just doing what I did so far.
The fact that Jonas Jerebko was drafted 39th in a weak draft, I mean, that was surprising to me because I have been out there to see him quite a bit, and thanks to your information as well. Do you think that they missed the boat on Jonas, taking him to 39? Why do you think he went so low, considering the fact that he might be at the All-Star game, at the rookie-sophomore game?
Well, I don't want to overestimate Jonas. Jonas is a good player. He's a good role player. He can play multiple positions. And his approach to every game is very European, even if he's playing in the NBA. Every single possession is important, and this is the best quality he has, in my opinion. No matter what he does on the floor, he's doing something every time he's on the floor. That's why the coaches and the staff of the Pistons rely on him so much. I think that the biggest, I don't want to say mistake, because he was drafted, and as far as I know, a lot of teams, the night of the draft, were after him. He had like a chance, as far as I heard, to get a contract with the Bobcats. I mean, Ginobili was picked 56. Different time, different era, different player, but he still picked 56, I think.
There's not 38 better players than Jonas Jerebko in the 2009 draft. That's my opinion, at least, and I think he's proven that already as a rookie.
How do you say in the States, opinions are like what?
Like assholes.
Everybody's got to work. No, I mean, I'm joking, but I believe that Jonas has strange kind of frame. He's a small forward in a power forward's body. He is not a great ball handler. He was not a great shooter. He was a tough guy. He was a tough, not tough guy in a certain kind of sense. I meant he's a tough kid on the floor, and I believe that he was like, the teams liked him, but they didn't know what he was exactly. And I think he's still a work in progress. I mean, they are discovering him day by day, and I'm pretty sure the Pistons too were surprised. My guess, and I don't feel ashamed to say that, he was going to have a tough first season, maybe spending some games in the D-League, but he is exactly the type of player the Pistons have been looking for. I don't know to replace who, but Austin Day is, even if he's skill-wise different, Summers is skill-wise different, but same kind of size, same kind of position. probably that's the kind of player they were looking for. And George David and the Pistons coaching staff came overseas to watch him. They had a lot of information about him. I don't want to say somebody did a mistake, but as far as I know, there were some teams who were thinking about picking him in the late first round. That maybe was not going to be so good for him. False expectations killed players like Reece Gaines, for example. Not realistic, I mean. With Jonas, he's a second rounder. Nobody expects anything from him. He's a second round. It's a pick they can't waste, At the same time, they're very satisfied. So sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens the opposite.
So there's 16 teams here in the D-League. Every team has about 10 players, 160 players. How many of these guys can play in Europe right now?
Of these guys? Maybe the 10%, the 20%? What level? I mean, Europe is big. It's as big as...
At your level, at First Division Italy?
Maybe 10 to 12 players, in my opinion. I mean, Alade Aminu can play, but he's a rookie. You got to understand that when a player like Alade Aminu is a great player, in my opinion, and he was drafted in the second round, when he comes overseas, he's going to face a different kind of lifestyle, language, room. The streets are different. I had a player in Biella who asked me why the streets are so narrow. Because our towns were founded like 3,000 years ago. There were no cars at that time. So, of course, it's different. So you never know. Okay, Cartier Martin is doing great in the D-League. He was just cut from Benetton Treviso. How can you explain that? So being ready to play overseas, talent-wise, 10 to 15 players for sure. But whether they are going to play or not, whether they're going to succeed or not, it's a different kind of issue.
Daniele, we could go on and on for hours, but unfortunately we don't have that much time. So thank you so much.
What, I have time?
I don't. I got places to be. I got players to see. So I'm going to have to cut this one short. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you guys.
From Illinois, Chicago.